Hello, how you doing?
Hello, is this Dazzle?
Yeah, it's Dazzle.
Yes, how you doing? I want to know if I can book a reading or if you're available for a reading.
Yes, always. What's on your mind?
Okay, so I think my baby father's sleeping with the girl next door.
What?
And yes, because she always looking at me funny. She never really speak. But every time I'm with him, it's like she speak and be giggly, like doing this like a side eye thing. I think it's like a woman's intuition thing. He say I'm tripping, but I know I'm not. He don't do nothing for me, nothing for my kids. And the other day, I found like a Gucci receipt in his armrest, and just coincidentally, she had like some
Alright, we're
Gucci
gonna
shoes.
figure. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Hello, everybody. It's your girl Dazzle That Tarot, and I am back again for another tarot reading. Okay, so we're gonna get into it. All right. Now, please like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when I upload and when I go live. And if you would like to book a private reading, all you have to do is go into the description box. Everything is in there, okay? So what I do here is all alleged and for entertainment purposes only until modern science comes up with this mathematical equation that the metaphysical science is in fact the valid form of science, and all tools of divination are in fact valid tools of science. Okay. Until then, I am just a girl on her back porch that believes that she is in the Bahamas and, minding her business and pulling a little bit of cards on these people. Okay. So it has come to my desk, right? I was watching Queen Amadeus, right? And she was breaking it down, right? I was watching Queen Amadeus Shakur live. Please follow her. I love her commentary. I believe she teaches law. So she has been very, very pretty much on point with everything dealing with the P. Diddy trial, talking about like the litigations and things like that. I was even watching Pam Esquire's. She's a lawyer. So follow her as well. I was watching her, and then I was watching some interviews of like a what is that called when you have the jury, but you have like the backup juries, the alternate jurors. One of the alternates did an interview, and it made sense. They did not believe Dawn's testimony, and with Daphne Joy, they felt like it was some weird stuff going on with her testimony too. So that actually played a part. But they was talking about they was pretty much shielded from everything, and they was very much so impartial. They was very much so unbiased, and they came up with the best decision that they thought was going to, whatever. That's what he was saying that the jurors was coming up with. They were actually taking it seriously, right? So shout out to the judges, jurors, shout out to the legal um people. I was a juror before. So jury duty is basically your civil duty. And guess what? I enjoyed my experience, met some nice people for the moment, and then afterwards we went about our merry way. Now, mind you, this is a alcohol free beverage. I just put strawberries in it. I can't drink no more for 9 months, but I can surely have a mock cocktail. hmm So let's get into it. Recently, there was an entertainer. Let me get into it. Let me pull up the it was on the neighborhood talk. Let me pull it up real quick. His name is Clayton Howard, okay? Clayton Howard via the neighborhood talk. This is where I got the information from. Clayton Howard says that freak off. Okay, so via the neighborhood talk, freak off escort files lawsuit against Diddy and Cassie. Claims Cassie gave him an STD and aborted their pregnancy without his knowledge. Okay, so This is how the article reads. Neighbors, this is wild. A male escort is coming for Diddy and Cassie in a new lawsuit. According to TMZ, he's suing them after allegedly contracting an STD from Cassie. He also alleges that Cassie aborted his unborn child. Okay? Clayton Howard was one of several men, not several, it was many men, many men. Okay, several male escorts allegedly hired by Diddy. Not alleged, they were. And he claims that during his wild freak offs, he went by Dave. Dave the Stallion if you're nasty. Mr. Dave if you're dirty. During one session of the freak offs, of the mini sessions. He contracted an alleged STD from Cassie. Remember Cassie said she had some sores in her mouth, right? The exact STD he claims he contracted has not been specified, but he went on to allege something crazier. Now, it probably hasn't been specified, allegedly, because remember how Cassie was very adamant, and the prosecutors and the judge was very adamant about them not actually talking about STDs on the stand. So she talked about sores and UTIs, but not STDs. But we do understand that as a female, when you have sex unprotectedly with many men back to back like that, and you guys are exchanging fluids and things like that, you will get bacterial vaginosis, you will get a yeast infection, you will get a UTI, you will get chlamydia, gonorrhea, trichomoniasis, herpes, genital warts, HPV, things like that. Okay, in the lawsuit, he claimed Cassie aborted his unborn child without his knowledge and says after the abortion, she continued to have unprotected sex with him. Now, it makes sense because they were still in contact with these freak off participants on the low behind P. Diddy's back sometimes, right? So, he's even writing a book, y'all. Okay, so in his book, Cassie, Victim or Co-Conspirator. Ooh, he detailed Cassie revealing she was pregnant while he'd been in prison for violating parole. He prison based too. She like him in prison, don't she? She told me that she had been pregnant and was sure it was my child, he claims. He began to cry and said he didn't want to go through with it. After seeing, no, she began to cry and claimed she did not want to go through with it. After seeing her emotional, he claims that he had no choice but to forgive her. The amount he is suing for is unspecified, girl. Okay, so how y'all feel? So I'm gonna show y'all what the comment section was saying, right? So somebody said no. Tia Becca said, "Boy, what makes you think she wanted to birth a snapping turtle? Abort mission was the only option. I would have turned the vacuum on too. You're an escort, girl. Okay." But here's the problem, though. I understand her body, her choice, but when two people come together in unprotected sex and someone ejaculates in the other and they were so-called ovulating at the moment and they produce a child, he has just as much say-so as you do. Okay? That's how I feel with that. All right, so then you have somebody said this is just a lot. The Heat, Diddy, Cassie, this man, Krishan, Trump, I ran my bills, me, you. This is all just a lot for me right now. And I was cracking up with that. Then somebody said her husband got the strength of Jesus Christ himself because hell nah, this too much. Too much. And then whole time, now this is funny. Somebody said you got an STD and went back for more and you forgave her for ending the pregnancy, but now you're suing her. The math ain't mathing. Now, here's the funny part. Now, the things that y'all don't want people to say to Cassie, you guys are saying to this escort. Okay? Just like you can say you got an STD and went back for more, Cassie got sores in her mouth and went back for more. You forgave her for ending the pregnancy. Cassie forgave P. Diddy time and time again for beating his ass, for beating her ass. But now you're suing her. But now he's suing. Now she's suing him. She sued him, or she threatened to sue him, and they settled. The math ain't mathing on either part, is it? No, is it? Somebody said I refuse to believe she was hunching on that. Oh, he only sued because of her settlement. Same thing to be said about Cassie. She only sued because he a billionaire. Why would she keep the baby and you're an employee? Why would P. Diddy want you to be pregnant and you're a freak off queen? Then Erica De Niro TV on YouTube said, "Nigga, based on the escorts we've seen, bro, you weren't there." Oh, she was. He was. They look, look, look. I'm pretty sure he was. We're gonna ask that. Then here go, here go. Oh, it was somebody up in here. Let me see something. Let me see something. It was one of them. Hold on, 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 hold on. Oh shoot. Let me see something. No. Somebody said, "Well, obvious she's a co-conspirator. She has 30 million. Get some of that cash and buy some ointment for them warts." Hold on. It was some stuff though. People was eating her up in the comment section when it first got posted. But look, here's the truth about it though. Technically, anytime you knowingly have sex with anybody, and you know that you have any type of thing going on with you, there is a high chance that they may contract something and it will be your fault. You become a victimizer. Okay? You're having sex with them unprotected too. So if you're knowingly having unprotected sex with somebody under the guise that you have nothing wrong with you, you are at fault. Okay? That's that on that. So therefore she will become a victimizer. If you have sores in your mouth and you're sucking dick, you are wrong. Okay? But other than that, we're just going to see if he's telling the truth. We're going to start with his emotions, okay? So, what is his name? Clayton Howard. We're going to ask, is Clayton Howard telling the truth, okay? So, let's get his emotional stance first. How does he really feel? Okay, then we're going to see if he was really at the freak offs, right? And we're going to see if he slipped and slid on that baby oil and got Cassie pregnant, and Cassie gave him some STD. Let's see. All right. How does the alleged male escort, Clayton Howard, feel towards Cassie? Because technically Cassie the one that gave it to him. So how does the alleged male escort feel towards Cassie? How does he feel? What is his true emotions towards her? 1, 2, 3. Divine feminine. She's a toxic feminine. Okay, so he feels like she's a toxic woman. He might even, in the lower part of the aspect of that, he can kind of feel like she's a hoe. Jezebel. Things like that. Divine feminine in the reverse, and she does not know her word. So you have this negative feminine energy, and you have this phony trickster illusions fairy tale upright. How he truly feels about Cassie is that when you see her, you feel like, because as far as the glitz and glam and being a celebrity and stuff, you see her, she's the epitome of beauty and things like that. And pretty much, if you don't know what you know, if you didn't know what he knew, you would think it was all a fairy tale. Like, it was just like beautiful, right? Like her life, her beauty, her this and her that. It's a certain image. But what he knows is that he feels like he knows better, and he views her as a hoe, right? And toxic at that, very loose woman, right? And he also feels like she's a phony, a trickster, and all this shit is not really what you think it is, right? So she stood on that stand and said this, that, and the third. That's how he feels. Love messages. And he thought, because they were connected, okay? He thought that they could have been something more. So when you make sex, and if you constantly have sex with the same person and you guys are having good sex, the feelings come in at some point in time. You guys are still in contact with each other. They're going to come in, right? And you're going to have these weird feelings going on. So I don't believe in just casual sex. Somebody's going to start feeling the way. So I think that he kind of probably felt the way. And the whole time, that's why it comes up again. That's why this comes up. Reckless love, sex. So pretty much, they was just fucking the fuck, and then they got mixed up, and then they got to be something else, right? So even though y'all feel like Cassie would never mess with him, oh, she was messing with him, and they were doing the do, and they were having sex, and they were in communication, and at some point in time, Cassie made him feel like it was something more. Okay, that's what that was, right? This is the closing of a cycle, but he doesn't want the cycle to completely close. He's not done. Okay. This person's not done. So it was something more. So Clayton Howard is not lying. Okay. So let me see something. How does Cassie feel about Clayton Howard? But that's what happens when you're having sex all willy-nilly and you're mixing, fluids, you're mixing energies, and you're creating these soul ties. That's what you're really doing, right? So let's see. I even heard like a toxic womb, because when you're having sex with that many men, your womb becomes toxic for a time until you cleanse yourself. So it's a good thing that maybe when she did stop doing all that, she was able to like cleanse herself, be well, physically and spiritually, whatever the case may be, to have kids. Okay, because that's what has to happen. Your body needs to be fleshed out and cleansed, because you have all that energy from all these other men inside of you. Let's see. How does Cassie feel about Clayton, this escort? How does she feel about Clayton, the escort? What is her feelings towards him in this situation? 1, 2, 3. I miss you. Why does she have something that she misses about this escort? She misses something about this escort. Some situation or whatever they had going on that she misses. Spiritual gifts. Okay, I already told you that basically she's been tapping in. She had to cleanse herself and things like that. So I feel like when it comes to how she feels about the escort in this situation, she has a higher understanding when it comes to him and her. And even when it comes down to that baby, there was a reason. So she had to actually get higher understanding about that. Mirroring in the reverse. At one point, and also the way she feels, they reflected each other. She gave off the sexual deviant energy and he reflected it back, right? And there was some type of emotions there, right? And they was a reflection of each other. And mind you, she may have loved Diddy and stuff, but she was like in a parallel type of way, or in some weird way, she started catching feelings for these escorts. But it's the sex. And it's a fairy tale trickster and stuff like that. This was never going to happen, right? So she probably even gave him the thought that it will be more, right? Because I think she would vent to some of these escorts about how she felt about Diddy. Yeah, how she felt about her situation. So let me see. Ooh, time for me to just ask, because then we're going to get to Tisa Tales. So we're going to ask, because I kind of pick up that, yeah, they had more than just, he's not lying. Okay, he's not lying at all. Now, how y'all be like, believe victims, technically he would be a victim and he's not lying. Okay, so there is something there. So let's see this. Given the energy surrounding Clayton Howard's the escort, is he telling the truth and the whole truth, just to clarify about him and Cassie's situation. Give me that story. Is he telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help me God. One, two, three. The Two of Swords is in the reverse. The Six of Pentacles is in the reverse. The Page of Cups is in the reverse. The Chariot. What is Spirit telling me about this person? The Page of Wands. Okay, so he felt like he had no choice. He felt like, okay, with the Two of Swords in the reverse, he felt like he ain't have a choice. He had to make this. He ain't had no choice. Why? Because they didn't give him no money. He was not received any payout and stuff. He didn't receive what others received. So therefore, he had no choice but to come out. The Page of Cups talks about, in the reverse, bad news, but it talks about a naivety. Okay? It talks about his naivety. All right? Because a lot of times people look at stuff with rose-colored glasses. These are the type of people that be like, oh, they really like me. No, they just want you for sex. Like Cassie just wanted you for sex. But they're going to take whatever they say and they're going to be like, oh my goodness, like, I really do believe them, this, that, and the third. Like, he pretty much got swept up in the rapture. Okay, he got swept up in the rapture of love, right? But it wasn't really love, it was sex. Okay, so the Page of Wands comes out. This is the new creative energy, right? It's not a grown energy, it's childish. So he might be being a little childish because he felt like he didn't get what he needed, but other people are getting what they need, so he needs to get what he needs. Okay, so it doesn't mean that he's lying. What it's saying is that's why he's doing it, right? He feels like he has no other choice, no other option but to come forward, the Chariot, because y'all did not give him what he needed. Okay? And not only that, you made me feel like you loved me. You made me feel like you was gonna run away with me. hmm That's the energy of that, right? So, is he gonna get paid? Is he gonna get anything for this? Right? Because people are so upset and people feel like he's not a victim, but in fact, obviously through these cards, allegedly he is, right? And there was something there. So is he going to get compensated in any way? And then he's making a book that's asking you guys, is Cassie a victim or co-conspirator? And that is a real question. So let's see. Will he get any type of payout, compensation, anything else like that, right? Will he get anything for this? The Star card, which fulfillment after they so there's going to be some clarity and a decision is going to be made, and he might get a little money. He might. Temperance, doing things in moderation, but he's not going to get the emotional fulfillment that he wants. So he's going to get the attention. Hold on, wait. After everything's been said and done, and there's clarity and there's a choice that's going to be made, a clear option is going to be made. But however, with the Star card, it's the attention that he wants, right? Because he wants someone to play fair with him, a give and take, right? I keep telling you, he want what he want, right? But it ends up being something that emotionally didn't come through for him. So the Two of Wands is in the reverse. This is kind of like poor planning. He needs to plan this out better because he's not lying. He just needs to plan it out better. He needs to get his information together. He should have been saving all the info, right? You know, if you go to the hospital, you get your penicillin. Please document all that. Get all the documents for that. You know, what year was it with the woo, right? It's something about what you can prove and being prepared. He has to be prepared for this. So hopefully he is prepared because other than that, it might not go the way he truly wants it to go. So he got to be prepared, right? So that's what I got for that, right? So let's get into Tisa Tales, all right? Now hold on, wait. Let me stop. I'm gonna stop myself because I'm not gonna sit there and not ask this. I'm not gonna not ask this question. And I'm going to use archetypes, deck guide, okay? Because I want to know, is Cassie a co-conspirator or 100% victim, right? Will you consider Cassie? I want to know if the spirits consider Cassie a victim or a conspirator, right? Because the way Clark, what's his name, Clayton Howard, the way he describes things, he's saying, and other entertainers are saying that Cassie was fully aware of what she was doing and she had autonomy and she had choices and she called some shots. Okay, so let's get into it. So this is going to be the Archetypes Tarot, not Tarot, Oracle, and we're going to get into it. Given the energy, Spirit, of if Cassie was indeed a co-conspirator or a flat-out victim who had no other choice. Let's ask. One, two, three. I'm going to go and pick from the in-between. In-between rounds. Let's get this one. What was Cassie? Ooh, 2 came out. All right. 2 came out. So let's just worry about the 2 then. So you have the river, okay? Here's the river. And this is right here is the village. Oh my goodness, no, Lex, no, don't mess up my things. No, you can't mess up my things. No, boo, don't mess up my things. Don't mess up my Oracle deck container. And you would want to mess with it. Ugh. Let me get it up off you. Okay. Let's get this right. Was Cassie a victim? The river. Now, when we look at this, you have different hues, different colors. Hey, I have a question. If it's about Cassie or Tisa Tales, go for it. So, the river. I think if some the river gives me you're going with the flow. Hey, what's up, AD? What's up with you? How you been feeling? How you doing? How you shaking, baby? Okay, so the river. If Cassie is a co-defendant or a victim. This is different hues, this is different energies, it's mixed in and it's conjoined and it's going with the flow, it's moving forward. The chariot is moving along, right? Now, I feel like when you're going down the river, you're going with the flow, you're going with the directions, okay? You're moving at one with the water in the currents, in the energy that's going on. So if she was a co-conspirator, I would say yes, she was, because she's going with the flow. She's going with the energy of what's going on, right? And a river is not technically forced to go a direction in a way. It's going to do what it does. You don't have to force it, right? Matter of fact, if you try to a river doesn't flow upstream, I don't believe. It flows downstream. So if you try to work against the river, it's not going to work for you, right? It's going to cause more friction. You're going to have to do more work to get, to move against the current and stuff. So basically, I think she went along to get along, and therefore that makes you a co-conspirator. Okay, that's what that. In the village, so it's a group thing, right? So her village, her circle with P. Diddy, that's the village. It's a circle of swingers. Her celebrity circle that she was in during the time, she was part of that circle. They were swingers. That's what they did. So technically, if it's a sense of going with the flow, and going with the river and moving along with the flow. She did it because that's part of her community at the time. They were swingers. That's what they were doing. They were voyeurs and swingers. Period. So yeah, she was a co-defendant. Technically, if you want to say it legally, co-defendant. She was part of it. She was with it, and she seen nothing wrong with it until she felt like something was wrong with it. It's not wrong until it's wrong, right? So let's see. Now let's get to Tisa Tales. So everybody's mad at Tisa Tales. Everybody's calling her a liar, right? So I did a little mini reading the other night, and I was like, well, Tisa is part of that Me Too movement thing. She feeds her audience what they want to hear, things like that, and she's just going for the buck as well. So I think Tisa Tales believes some of what she says. She believes her own shit. Okay, she does. She believes her own shit, wrong or right, lie or the truth. But Queen Amadeus was giving some tea. So my first question is, because Queen Amadeus said that a lady tipped some content creators off while they was down there at the courtroom and was talking about how the prosecutors was actually going around trying to get people to basically, they had incentives for content creators and for media to put them in a good light and pretty much be on their side. What happened? You kicked them out?
He jumped over the couch.
You jumped over the couch? Why are you doing that, Lex? You was cool out here with me. You see what I'm saying? So basically, they were saying that the prosecutors were actually having an incentive and they had a little fun for the media, social media people that was coming in, the freelance investigators, the YouTubers and stuff, to give them a little incentive, right? Give them a little this and a little that. And they felt like Tisa Tales was part of that because Tisa Tales will be like behind security gates and everything else like that, where the other content creators could not go. The new media couldn't get there. You know what I'm saying? So they was feeling like she had something to do with something. So was Tisa Tales paid to basically go and speak a certain way that was in the prosecution in Cassie's favor? Did she get any incentive money-wise that's outside of YouTube, like by the prosecutors and, things like that? Did she get any type of money incentive in the way for that? And then not only that, she was on different like outlets too, just like everybody else. But it was kind of weird. Like now I'm looking at it, it is kind of weird. Like, please go see Queen Amadeus Shakur live, okay? And she'll show you. I think I'm gonna put it in my community post. I love listening to her anyway. She's a beautiful older woman, and she just be giving facts. Okay, so let's see. Was Tisa Tales paid by prosecutors and pro Cassie and pro prosecution to report in favor of Cassie in the prosecution? 1, 2, 3. Even though she believes her stuff. The Eight of Cups is in the reverse. The Knight of Pentacles is upright. And the Sun. Then you have the Page of Cups in it. Okay, so there is a naivety. Okay, so here's the thing. I told y'all that she already felt how she felt. Okay, she believes her own shit. All right, I'm not tripping. She believes her own shit, even if her own shit is not based in facts. Okay, she believes it, so she says it. So she is right. But it was some incentives that came in after the fact. So she didn't start off getting paid anything, but there was incentives or opportunities that came in that put her in the light that she was abundant from, right? So I don't believe that she got paid. No, she didn't get paid to initially do it, to initially side with Cassie, and to initially report how she was reporting. But because she reported how she did, then that's when people came in and started to incentivize her and give her opportunities and stuff like that. Because especially the prosecution. The prosecution came in and was like, I like her because she's speaking positive on us. And they probably could have gave her little opportunities and stuff, gave her connects and stuff, gave her a little coin, some lunch money, wooty woo, anything else like that. But she had already been doing that. Lying, telling the truth, whatever. But there's some it ended up there's some bad news and immaturity within that too, because it ended up backfiring on her in a way, because the prosecution did not win what they wanted to win. It was not what they thought it was going to be. Okay, and she's going to get a lot of flack, a lot of flack. But I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Y'all can't hate the player. Y'all gotta hate the game. Hate the game. Okay. So question. Then I want to know, because I'm messy, if outside of the whippings, would Tisa Tails participate in the freak off with if she was with P Diddy? Now this is what I want to know, because I don't know, I'm just weird like that, right? Would Tisa Tails participate in the freak off? As much as she say it was barbaric, it was trifling, would she have participated in a freak off? One, two. Ooh. Oh shoot. Oh shoot. Oh shoot. Oh shoot. Will she have participated in the freak off? Let's see. One. Who is in my kitchen? One, two, three. If she had the chance to be with P. Diddy before all of this, would she have participated in the freak off? She would have been drunk. I'm gonna tell y'all. She would have had been drunk. The 7 of Cups shows up. She would have had been mentally altered. Okay, drunk or high. Okay, it would have had to be drunk or high. The Queen of Cups is in the reverse. She acts like she doesn't want to do something, but then she acts like she does. So she'd get all drunk and high, start messing around, and then stop in mid action and say, "Oh no, I don't want to do it," and then turn back around and keep doing whatever she does. And then by the end of it, she'll be conflicted, and then it'll be problems. Okay, so with Tisa Tails, if she had the opportunity to be in the freak off, she'd do it and then act like it was against her will. So we see exactly what this is, and then hit the Me Too. She would. Sorry about that. My bad, y'all. She would. I just want to be messy and eggs. So half of y'all hoes be saying y'all ain't gonna do this, and y'all be doing stuff. But nah, shout out to Tisa Tails too, girl. You know I don't know nothing, right? I don't know nothing. But look, that's what I got for y'all. I was talking my stuff, and now everybody's up and ready to do stuff, and now I'm ready to do stuff. It's getting what 1:44. I've been on here for almost 40 minutes. And yeah, I fuck with y'all. I love y'all. And I'm going to talk to y'all later. Maybe I will come to you guys after I do my fireworks and stuff with the kitties. All right. So peace and pork and grease. I haven't said that in a minute. Peace and pork and grease. Pork and bean grease. Pork grease. Whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Love y'all. See y'all later. Okay. Let's